Hi, I'm Gigi Mathew Thomas. I'm Group Head of IT and Digital Transformation at Ittihad International Investments. We're a conglomerate holding company into various industry verticals. We're into manufacturing, trading, healthcare, contracting, waste management, medical services, etc. I'm a big believer in the synergy of people, processes, and systems to being essential components to having a very harmonious and smooth transformation initiatives in any organization. So typically, being part of an acquisition company, we have many scenarios where we acquire companies with varying maturity levels. The first and the foremost challenge of us is to bring these companies onto some sort of a common platform, which we call as onboarding a company. And as part of onboarding, we bring it to some sort of a standardized layer that helps us to pave the roadmap for that entity into the future. Typically, we do the best to utilize our platform and solutions. So in the onboarding, we try to onboard them onto our ERP, we try to onboard them onto, if it's a manufacturing company, we try to onboard them onto our WeBridge solutions because we already have pre-integrated platforms available within the group. However, having that said, there will always be some niche technologies that is specific to certain industries. In such cases, what we do is we build connectors, APIs, to ensure that we have the information exchange that exists between their niche solution and the common ERP platform that would have been set up. While many of the investment companies looked on to their acquisitions more on a very topical level, financial consolidation level, and do analytics in that layer, I see a general trend where the investment divisions want to get into the next layer of operations. What I mean by that is not get into the way of how the entities do business, but rather to see how can they streamline or improve operational excellency, operational efficiency, or how can we look at synergizing procurement, and this comes with cost benefits and advantages. We have very recently started our own aggregator operations for the supply chain. Our aggregator platform takes care of the entire supply chain and shipping that goes out from all of our factories within the region. This really helps us into having optimization when it comes to using the supply chain, when it comes to the chargeback mechanisms, when it comes to the company, and makes it all the more feasible. We do have a very stringent master data process within the group, and what we have: unique customers, unique vendors, unique materials. So if we have onboarded a customer and that customer is dealing with multiple entities within the group, he exists as a single entry within our systems. We get to have full visibility of a customer or a vendor across the entire group, and what is his engagement and relation with the different entities. So likewise for materials. So now having unique materials allows us to run reports and get analysis on what is the utilization of these materials across the group. So this gives us a lot of procurement synergies. We are able to do group level procurement for certain items. We are able to see tactical procurement for certain industries, and this gives us a lot of benefit and helps us also in the planning and budgeting for the upcoming cycles. One is, since the pandemic, we're all hearing about the cloud. So I believe cloud is here to stay. It may not be a 100% public cloud, but cloud in some sort of its variant, whether it's hybrid, private, or multi-cloud, there will be a touch base with every organization. The other aspect and the growing industry, what I would have to specifically say is security. Now, with being on cloud, at the same time with global threats on the rise, so there's going to be a lot of focus on security and solutions that's linked around to data protection, data leakage prevention, data classification, your endpoint protection. So there's going to be a lot of pace that's going to pick up on the security front. We use multiple platforms. For example, if it comes to the ERP, we do have a governance tool. So we use GRC, which is the governance, risk and compliance tools, to actually capture and ascertain the multiple roles that the business users have been granted access to. I can give you a classic example. Somebody with an AP or an accounts payable role should not be having an AR role, a receivable role. Now, typically this is considered as a risk. And we also have processes where any user or role that is created or any role that is being assigned to a user goes through a workflow where the compliance is able to simulate that risk before actually approving the role assignment for the user. So we try to kill the problem at source. The single most complex challenge that any transformation initiatives engage is change management. It's a very broad subject, right? It's driven by the culture of an organization. So if an organization is not accustomed to handling change and how to welcome and embrace change, the typical first response that you get from any business unit is resistance. For me, it's the cultural aspect of it, which is extremely significant. And then there is the operational aspect of change management. At the end of the day, all of that is tracked, monitored, logged, audited, and captured. So this really helps us to keep that aspect under control. However, cultural change starts way before. It starts from the inception of such an initiative. This initiative, what I'm doing right now, I would categorize it under or call it as one of the defining moments. It's by and far the most complex initiative that I've been. While I have done very many projects before, never at this level of complexity. It's very different rolling out a huge initiative for an enterprise and for a conglomerate group. One of the activities what we did is we formulated something called as a business process master list. It was a huge exercise, but I believe every organization should do, especially conglomerates. It was an exercise what we did to capture each and every process that was done by each and every company for each and every department. So we are able to generate facts or factual reports to our management to show what is the level of automation that we have increased in that factory, or how many hours of FTE efforts have we saved across a department. Now, this is the kind of insights that your C-level would want to see so that they can make strategic decisions on how they want to tackle or how they would like to club certain entities or certain departments for certain entities. So that was very interesting aspect that we did. It was a very interesting mini project per se that we did. Yeah. My wish list is that we are in the final stage of implementation right now, and we hope to complete that within Q2 next year. So that would be one great achievement, and typically that would pave the roadmap for the next level of initiatives. How can we bring in process automation? How can we explore IoT and other technologies? So we're really looking at exploring these kind of avenues to see how we can optimize the operations. Now that we have the systems, we have the data, so we can now add in new technologies. Other than the IT Gigi per se, there is a car lover, there is a gardener, there is a baker. I really love nature. I've done quite a few passionate projects for schools. I'm big into aquaponics, hydroponics, technology, but on a different front. I'm a big lover of classic cars again, so a bit of taste on that front as well. I really enjoy my free time in exploring these avenues.